That's exactly what it is. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the attacks that are being made on the film. You briefly mentioned it कि इसको propaganda film बोला जा रहा है. There've been attacks. I want to come to Kejriwal in a second as well, but he sort of intimated that ये anti-Muslim film है या Islamophobia फैल जाएगा इस film से. A lot of people have made the same arguments. Why do you have to show the stuff that he showed in the film? इसको बहुत एक सटल तरीके से भी इस फिल्म को बनाया जा सकता था. इस तरह की फिल्म आप अगर बनाइएगा तो इससे एंटी मुस्लिम हेट्रेड फैल जाएगी. I have never understood that argument for a second in my life, because that argument has never ever been made against Schindler's List or even Inglourious Basterds, which is a very fictionalized, it paints the Nazis as almost cartoon villains, right? Nobody made that argument because we expect German people to be smart enough and intelligent enough to understand that we are talking about Nazis and the ideology of Nazism. We are not talking about Germans today, right? Everybody understands that. German people understand that. But according to our secular people, according to our liberal people, मुसलमानों में ये intelligence नहीं है. मुसलमान intelligent नहीं है according to these people. According to these people, Muslims are so emotionally immature that seeing a movie like this, they'll think कि ये तो मेरी बात कर रहा है personally. Why do this soft bigotry of low expectations is what really pisses me off, because we think that people will understand the Rwandan genocide. People will understand caste-based discrimination. Upper caste Hindus should have the emotional maturity to understand caste-based discriminations. Germans should have the maturity to understand the Holocaust. But Musalmanon mein ye emotional intelligence nahi hai. Like, what is this? Not bigotry of some kind by itself?
It is. It is not just bigotry. और आप ये ना सोचें कि politicians को समझ नहीं आता या politicians ऐसे ही कर रहे हैं. This is deliberate.
Yeah.
Because the silence of the politicians on Kashmiri Pandit issue also has been deliberate over the last 30 years. कि अरे यार ये तो वोट बैंक नहीं है, इनको छोड़ दो. अरे यार वहाँ तो majority Muslim population है J&K में, इनका कोई वो नहीं है, छोड़ दो. So this is the reality of the day. So every time the film shook the conscience of the nation, there were politicians who spoke about Islamophobia हो जाएगा जी, Islamophobia बहुत जबरदस्त एकदम हो जाएगा जी. अरे कैसे होगा? और आप चलिए फैक्ट्स पे काउंटर कीजिए ना. नाडिमर्ग वहां पर दिया हुआ है एपिसोड. यासीन मलिक का जो एयरफोर्स वालों को मारने का सीन है वो दिखाया हुआ है. बिट्टा कराटे का सीन दिखाया हुआ है. जो अरुंधति रॉय यासीन मलिक को मिलती रहती थी, उसको पोडियम देती थी, उसको प्लेटफॉर्म देती थी, वो दिखाया हुआ है. निवेदिता मेनन की जो स्पीच है ओपनली जेएनयू में जो उसने बोला, और बाकी जो आजादी के स्लोगन्स लगे, भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह, ये सब तो ओपनली है, ओपनली वहां पर अवेलेबल है. जो हुआ और जो दिल्ली पुलिस के रिकॉर्ड्स में भी है. तो there were facts, the facts that were given cinematic expression by Vivek Agnihotri.
Yeah.
So what was wrong? I'll tell you very honestly, before the film I was not a great fan of Vivek Agnihotri. I have also maybe about his political beliefs etc. a question, but the man should be given credit for making this film. I mean, name one person from the left wing or right wing or no wing who has dared to make a film on the Kashmiri Pandit issue so openly, so blatantly, on the face, without mincing any words. और ये Bollywood का ना typical है. They want to balance things out. They don't want to appear a certain kinds in a certain.
You have to sell the film in the Middle East. You have to sell the film in Pakistan.
Exactly. Vivek perhaps did not care. Did not even use the kind of marketing that usually Bollywood does. 14 करोड़ 15 करोड़ की जो फिल्म है, या ज्यादा से ज्यादा मान लीजिए 20 करोड़ लगाए होंगे इन लोगों ने, वो 250-260 करोड़ ऑलरेडी कमा चुकी है. और अभी 3 हफ्ते भी नहीं हुआ. So that is the question, that how long will politicians fool the common masses? इस फिल्म से पहली बार सच्चाई सामने आई है. और तभी जब मैं बीजेपी के खिलाफ भी ट्वीट कर रहा हूँ, मुझे 2500-2000 लोग रिट्वीट कर रहे हैं कि भाई बीजेपी वालों, आपने प्रधानमंत्री ने सपोर्ट किया फिल्म को, बहुत अच्छी बात है. आपने कश्मीरी पंडितों के साथ सांत्वना जाहिर की, बहुत अच्छी बात है. लेकिन अब कुछ करो भी तो. आपके ऊपर दारोमदार है. It is up to you now to bring justice. The Congress also, the biggest, nightmare or, hilarious aspect here is कि बीजेपी, कांग्रेस और आम आदमी पार्टी लड़ रहे हैं कि भाई 90 में किसकी सरकार थी, 90 में गवर्नर कौन था, चीफ मिनिस्टर कौन था, किसने क्या किया. अरे भाई 2 मिनट के लिए वो भूल जाओ अभी कौन क्या कर रहा है या कौन क्या करेगा उस पर तो सहमति जाहिर करो। अगर ऑल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज आर सेइंग, अरविंद केजरीवाल भी कह रहे हैं कि नहीं उनके साथ ज्यादती हुई, जस्टिस होना चाहिए,
Yeah.
कांग्रेस के नेता भी कह रहे हैं कि नहीं गलत हुआ, जस्टिस होना चाहिए, मोदी जी भी कह रहे हैं, अमित शाह जी भी कह रहे हैं, आप सब लोग मान रहे हैं कि गलत हुआ
Yeah.
और जस्टिस होना चाहिए, तो एटलीस्ट सेट अप अ कमीशन। दिस शुड बी वन
ये
टेस्ट
तो
केस वेयर द
अक्रॉस पार्टी
पॉलिटिकल
लाइंस
पार्टीज
जाके
कम
किया
टुगेदर।
जा सकता है। इफ एवरीबडी
एग्जैक्टली
बिलीव्स कि त्रासदी हुई है, देन गो अक्रॉस पार्टी लाइंस एंड देन फॉर्म अ अक्रॉस द पार्टी कमीशन। सब लोग को बिठा दो।
एग्जैक्टली कि आई मीन कांग्रेस वाले लगे हुए हैं जी, राजीव गांधी ने वहां पर पार्लियामेंट गिरा किया था, हमने किया है जी। केजरीवाल जी कह रहे हैं कि जो स्कूल टीचर हैं हमने जी नौकरियां लगवाई हैं। अरे
या
भाई, क्रेडिट लेना 2 मिनट के लिए आप भूल जाइए। सब लोग किसी ना किसी तरह कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो हिंदू मासेस की अभी सेंटिमेंट है किसी तरीके से हमारे फेवर में आ जाए।
या
बट द क्वेश्चन इज कि भाई कुछ ग्राउंड पे भी तो करो। आप जब तक इंसाफ के लिए जो गुहार 32 साल से लग रही है, इफ यू डोंट वर्क ऑन दैट, द हिस्ट्री विल जज यू।
या
I mean, today the masses might be with you, but tomorrow you'll be questioned
या
that you did not do anything.
या Yeah, that's true. Because I personally believe Article 370 ko hatana, it was a monumental step. It was a great step. But the thing is that goodwill will only last you a certain amount of time if people don't see any movement in terms of rehabilitation. And again, like you said yourself, rehabilitation तब तक नहीं होगा जब तक एक कमीशन बिठा के प्रॉपर तरीके से लोगों को जस्टिस नहीं दी जाएगी. People make the same case about what happened in 1984 with the Sikhs in Delhi. तो जब दिल्ली में हमको ये सिखों के साथ भी करना जरूरी है, तो यही लॉजिक तो कश्मीरी हिंदुओं पर भी लगना चाहिए ना, कि एक कमीशन
Exactly.
बिठाओ, जो लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं उनको पनिशमेंट दो, तब जाकर अगर कश्मीरी हिंदू सेफ फील करेंगे तो खुशी खुशी वापस जाएंगे यार, वरना अभी उनको वापस
Exactly.
जाने का मतलब ही नहीं बनता. So
Exactly.
that is definitely very true. And that was going to be my question, that I think you basically answered it, that for people who are saying कि अच्छा ये या तो एंटी मुस्लिम सेंटिमेंट फैला रहा है या फिर झूठी फिल्में, या जो भी लोगों ने बोला है, आई थिंक he's walked back his words in the next interview that he did with I think Navika. But for people that are questioning the film or attacking the film or saying कि अच्छा, या फिर जो लोग सहानुभूति भी express कर रहे हैं, for politicians you would say that this is what they need to do next. सहानुभूति का जो next step आना चाहिए, that should be a commission that investigates properly into the Kashmiri Hindu genocide and then punishes the people responsible, right? That's the next step for you?
Exactly. That is the next step. आप सोचिए ना कि केजरीवाल भी अगर बीजेपी को क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं, वो कह रहे हैं कि रिहैबिलिटेशन के लिए इन लोगों ने कुछ नहीं किया, बीजेपी ने पंडितों को यूज किया। अरे भाई, आप कश्मीरी पंडितों से पूछो पहले। वो अपने आज तक इंडिया टुडे के इंटरव्यू में कह रहे हैं कि जी आप कश्मीरी पंडितों से पूछिए उनकी क्या मांग है। उनकी मांग है कि उनको वापस वहां भेजना जाना चाहिए।
Yeah.
भाई हमको नहीं जाना वापस, अभी हमको इंसाफ चाहिए। हम कैसे वापस जाएंगे
Yeah.
जब हमको अभी भी डर लग रहा है, देयर इज फियर साइकोसिस, तो अभी तो वापस जा ही नहीं सकते। यस, अ पॉलिसी शुड बी मेड ऑन रिहैबिलिटेशन ऑन अ लॉन्ग टर्म बेसिस,
Yeah.
दैट will happen eventually after there are confidence building measures.
Yeah.
There is some sense of security in Kashmiri Pandits, but the politicians need a fast track class on what the Kashmiri Pandits really want. And that's why I've done a video where I've done an Instagram post also highlighting 10 demands, and a video highlighting, I spoke to a human rights commission recently in US.
Yeah.
Where I highlighted these 10 demands. First demand being that there needs to be कश्मीरी पंडित्स नीड टू बी नॉट कॉल्ड माइग्रेंट्स। आप सोचिए कश्मीरी पंडितों को माइग्रेंट बोला जाता है।
Yeah.
हम किस आधार पे माइग्रेंट है? वी शुड बी डिक्लेयर्ड इंटरनली डिस्प्लेस्ड पीपल एज पर द यूएन डेफिनेशन, and what happened in 1990 should be declared as genocide and ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
Secondly, there needs to be action against Yasin Malik, जो 32 साल से केस चल रहा है। अब बाकी केसेस में नहीं जाते, लेकिन जो 2-3 केस चल रहे हैं उसके जम्मू में, रूबिया सईद की किडनैपिंग और इंडियन एयरफोर्स में लोगों को मारना, उसमें उसका कन्विक्शन हो, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में हो, and government of India should demand the rarest of the rare punishment, which is death sentence. For Bitta Karate, there should be a retrial. He was in prison for 16 years. After that, the Jammu court judge said that the prosecution does not seem interested to convict him. So Supreme Court got him released. So he became a free man. He was garlanded. Thousands of people kissed him, showered toffees and whatnot on him. That showed local support for Bitta Karate and terrorists also in Kashmir. So these are the 3 primary demands. The 4th being obviously a commission of inquiry. You can have a sitting or a retired Supreme Court judge have it. and with other respectable members of the society. And there are other demands that the Kashmiri Pandits in Jammu, a sizable population, is living in shambles, in pathetic
Yeah.
conditions. They need to be given proper living conditions there. उनका एक ऑडिट आप कराइए और जो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शंस हैं, उनके जो बच्चे हैं, उनका एजुकेशन आप स्पॉन्सर कीजिए यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल तक. Because education is all we believe in. We do not want any kind of huge perks or anything or favor, or we do not beg. But education is something that has sustained us. We believe in knowledge, in learning. तो उसका आप जो ओनली इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी है, उनको आप जम्मू में उनकी मदद कीजिए. और जो पीएम पैकेज मनमोहन सिंह ने लाया था और मोदी जी उसको आगे लेके जा रहे हैं, वो उसमें 6,000 jobs are there. That needs to be at least increased to 20 or 25,000, because the 6,000 number is from 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So that needs to be made 20,000, and there is a clause in that you will work only in the home district. अगर कोई पुलवामा का है तो उसे पुलवामा ही जम्मू से वापस भेजेंगे. अगर शोपियां का है तो उसे शोपियां ही भेजेंगे. That should not happen, because there is a sense of security question, etc. So on compassionate grounds, a district of his choosing there should be 2-3 options that should be given to him or her. So these are some open demands. And secondly, there are multiple Kashmiri Pandit organizations like Panun Kashmir, All India Kashmiri Samaj, Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora, Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch, Roots in Kashmir, etc. So these 5-6 organizations need to be included in any dialogue, yes, on Kashmiri Pandits, but also on the fate of Kashmir. Kashmir pe jab bhi koi political dialogue hota hai, jab bhi there is any kind of a talk, they need to be included. They cannot be ignored by any means. And we have been patriotic Indians. We have been killed for being Indians, for being Hindus in Kashmir. And this is the least the government of India can do, to include our views, because we are a minuscule minority. Nobody has heard us for a very long time, and this should happen. And apart from that, a few other demands, including our script, the script of our language. Kashmiri language is Sharda, which has gone almost extinct. There are hardly 20 or 30 people in the world that can read and write the Sharda script. So that needs to be introduced in Kashmir University and universities across, and colleges across J&K and across India. A special learning session needs to be called.
Is it part of official languages in the Jammu Kashmir government? No. At least writing Kashmiri in the Sharda script.
No.
Achha.
It isn't.
So Kashmiri is part of the official languages, but it is written in that Arabic script.
It's written in Urdu.
Right. That's okay. Right.
Kashmiri is written in Urdu.
Interesting.
So that's what I mean. The original script चली गई, और मैं तो आज से 100, 150, 200 साल बाद सोच रहा हूँ कि there might be somebody arguing at that time कि यार शारदा हुआ करती थी, and that person might be lynched and said कि कौन सी शारदा की बात कर रहे हो, कोई शारदा नहीं है. And very interesting incident happened. I was in Kashmir recently. Sharda se mujhe yaad aaya. I was with the army, and army introduced me to a very, very, very amazing, बहुत किसी के चेहरे पर नूर type होता है. तो a person named Raja, I think Raja Buniari in Baramulla of North Kashmir. A very old gentleman. He must be in his 70s. And he somehow connected with me, and he became very emotional. He was in tears when he spoke to me. And he said he has written 14 books on the history of Kashmir, on culture of Kashmir. And he has gone to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir 3 or 4 times. And every time, why he has gone there? For the preservation of the Sharda temple in Neelam Valley of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And he has been forcing the Indian government and the Pakistan government कि उसको preserve करो, उसके artifacts जो म्यूजियम में पड़े हैं उसको बचाओ, और यहाँ से एक pilgrimage शुरू करो हिंदूज की और बाकियों की जो वहाँ जाना चाहते हैं for the Sharda temple, the ancient university of learning of Hindus. Imagine a Muslim is doing that from North Kashmir. So this is the question that we are just not bothered. And then there are more than 450 temples that have been desecrated in Kashmir. They need to be preserved. I mean, the Ministry of Culture, the Archaeological Survey of India needs to step in. These are very old temples. I mean, rich cultural heritage. कितने सालों, हजारों साल पुराने temples हैं वहाँ पर.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that mountain sort of architectural style is so different from the architectural style of the plains. Southern architectural style is so different from northern. So every region of the country has its unique architectural idiosyncrasies जिनको preserve करना बहुत important है. And so I couldn't agree more.
So these are the 8 10 demands that we have. अगर आपको लगता है कि गलत हूँ मैं, you can call me out. But these are the basic demands that we have. And I, as someone who's very logical, I'm a common Kashmiri, I believe that these are reasonable demands. The government of India, if there is a willingness, if there is a political intent, can do it. But will
Yeah.
they? Only future will tell.